This is You Won't Be the Next Zoink. A lot of people recommended this. I think this video literally dropped the day I went on vacation. I've been gone for the past 4 days, but mark my words, if I was not out, I would have reacted to this literally instantaneously from when it was uploaded, because these are fighting words, bro. What do you mean I won't be the next Zoink? This is insane, but let's hear them out. Oh, we got a bit of a movie on our hands. What the heck?
Hello, Aeon, my favorite Geometry Dash player and streamer. Oh, why thank you. That's so kind of you, very real viewer of mine. I've been playing Active for about 3 hours and I've only done 80 to 100. How can you play levels for this long every single day? You know you don't have to play Extreme Demons, right? You're not forced to play Active if you really don't want to.
That's what I've been saying. I think a lot of people have a weird kind of perspective on this game. And maybe just life. You don't have to do anything that you don't want to do. But let's let him cook.
You know, it kind of has a point. I stream pretty much every single day, and when you are a streamer, you end up getting asked a bunch of questions. And especially if you are decently good at the game, like myself, who is clearly
or me. I'm pretty good, man.
Best player in this game, you get asked a lot of rudimentary questions such as, hey Aeon, how do you get good at the game? Hey Aeon, I beat this level in X amount of attempts. Is that good? Or, hey Aeon, I'm going to jump from 9 circles to Bloodlust. Is that a good idea?
Wait! Is that why I get questions like these? I thought people were just trolling and being... Wait, are people asking me for advice because they think that I'm good at the game? Yo.
And I'm not going to show you if I've ever gotten asked these questions. You kind of just got to believe me. I'm way too lazy to go through my VODs and find any of them.
Dang.
But you get a lot of these questions.
Wait, I really have been too focused on all the chatters who are just like, you're stupid, why are you jumping? Wait, that's crazy.
Right? And most of the time I get asked this, I kind of just sit there for myself like, does it matter? Like, why do you care? I mean, obviously, the how do I get good question is fair. I have usually a pretty decent answer to that. I might talk about that some other day. But the...
Maybe they just want to see your perspective or something. There's no way. Yeah, I don't know. I think probably... I think the more likely scenario is just like... I think that there is a certain amount of social proof just to seeing like a streamer playing a game. And especially like when you're a younger viewer, you might just think like, okay, well, this guy's a streamer and he's playing the game. He probably knows more than I do. Let me see if he has anything of value to kind of bestow upon me in terms of ball knowledge or wisdom. Like, I can see that being fair as well. But also, maybe they just think I'm freaking awesome.
The other ones...
At the game. Which, to be fair, I mean, like, even if you're even attempting Bloodbath, you probably are higher level at the game than... can we say that fairly? Than most people. I'm not saying most of the people who get really good at the game, but... Most people who play, we can say that, right? Most people who play Geometry Dash, they'll probably never even like attempt Bloodbath. You know what I'm saying? I think it's very easy when being part of the GD community to be like, oh, it's just Bloodbath. It's been a top one for years. There's a lot harder than it. But like most people who play Geometry Dash will never even try Bloodbath. You know what I'm saying?
Kind of confused.
Yeah, thank you, the True Turk. No, 55.6% of players beat Jumper. You know what I'm saying? And that's not, I don't think that's a statistic to kind of beat people over the head with. I think it's just like valuable perspective because we get in these echo chambers online in any given game community where it's just like, oh, you know, like if you can't do this, you're trash. When like, if you can do like, I think even if you beat Deadlocked, you're technically in like the freaking top 90% of GD players, you know? And like, that's a valuable achievement.
Excuse me in a way, right? Like, does it matter if beating 9 circles in 4,000 attempts is good or bad?
No, it doesn't matter.
I don't know, waiting for you guys to answer me. So that kind of just makes me think for a second, right? It makes me wonder, why is everyone seemingly so obsessed with progressing so quickly? Hear me out for a second, okay?
Okay, for me, the reason why, and I've said this before, the reason why I'm interested in progressing quickly is because ever since I started playing this game on stream, I've had people in my chat that are just like, wow, you're progressing very fast. Like, you're getting good at this game very fast. And I'm not saying that to stroke my own ego. It's just like I also kind of felt like a natural click go within me because I played tens of thousands of hours of different games, and something about playing Geometry Dash really clicked with me. And so in my head, I eventually reached this point when I was still progressing at a regular pace playing Medium Demons where I was like, okay, if I really want to test like what my actual personal limit is with this game that I feel kind of like a natural inclination towards, I should really test my upper limit. And that's why, like, for me, what feels fun right now, and that might change, is jumping levels and truly limit testing, like, how much harder of a new hardest I can do. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that might ebb and flow and change for different people, but that's, like, why I'm doing it. Now, if you're a different person, you might have different reasons. I'm going to let Aeon Air talk because I've already lost the plot of this video. But I don't think the part of it that doesn't make sense to me is the fact that, like, yes, 9 circles in 4,000 attempts. I don't think that matters. I've talked about this before. I think what matters is the binary, have you beaten the level or have you not beaten the level? If you have beaten the level, great. Like, I think it's a simple flowchart of decision making, right? It's like, have you beaten the level? Yes, no. Cool. If yes, continue. Do you like playing the level? Yes, no. If yes, continue. And that's it. That's it. Personal enjoyment and whether or not you've beaten the level, that's like what motivates me in terms of game progression. All the other statistics and numbers connected to it, I try to avoid and not get too attached to in terms of ego.
This here is something that I want to coin the number 1 syndrome. And now you might be sitting there wondering, hey, what the hell's the number 1 syndrome? Well, I'm going to tell you. Now, imagine you are a 6-year-old little Jim Bob who really enjoys playing football, right? And for every little Jim Bob out there who really enjoys playing football, you know what their number 1 ambition is in life? They want to be the next Messi or Ronaldo. Suey. They want to be the next GOAT, the number 1 of that sport. And
do they? I feel like maybe I'm wrong. I was never much of a sports person. I feel like that's more of a modern thing. I feel like most kids, the reason why they play games is to have fun. I think that in this current era, because of social media, that's what's introduced the whole concept of like, anytime you try something, you better not even try unless you're going to be the best at it. I don't think that's something that's really always existed. I think that's something in the internet, in TikTok age, like where everybody's constantly comparing themselves to others on a day-to-day, hour by hour basis. That's where it was introduced. But I remember when I was a kid and I was just on the playground playing games with my friends, I wasn't trying to be the best. That innate competitiveness, I feel like being competitive doesn't really arise until like you're kind of like a little bit older. When you're a kid, you're just playing soccer to have fun. Sorry, football.
What really is the difference here then?
Yeah, I definitely think it's a modern thing.
With little Jim Bob wanting to become Messi 2 or Ronaldo 2, and some kid just wanting to be the next Zoink. They clearly really...
I wanted to be Messi when I was a kid. I scored 10 goals in a game. I mean, that's fair enough. Maybe it's on a person-by-person basis, but I think we can certainly agree that it's become more... like across the board, more people want to be the best at something, not because of the innate desire they have. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, if you're a kid and you have an affinity for football and you really love it, then yeah, you probably, because like, you know, there are kids like, I want to be an astronaut or whatever. Like, I'm sure that also exists. I'm not going to paint with a broad stroke. Like, absolutely no kid feels this way. But across the board, it's more of an observable phenomenon that kids want to be the best at something because they see the social proof on a day-to-day basis of like, oh man, if you're the freaking top NBA player, look at how much all these people like you. Oh man, if you're a freaking social media influencer and have this many followers, look at all these people liking you. Like your whole life and your whole structure is based around seeing people who are succeeding in life on their phone because they're quote unquote the best at thing that they do, right? And that's bad because people aren't supposed to like, we've built a whole culture around idolizing others when like throughout all of human history, we've preached against that. Like whether you're connected to religion or not, we've been like idolizing another human is a bad thing. Look around us right now. Look at you in my stream right now. To a degree, there are some people who watch me who are probably at least moderately idolizing me. They're putting me on a pedestal. Even though I crash out about this every stream, I'm no better than any of you here right now. I'm just a guy who's like playing a video game and shouting things into the ether. And sometimes I say stuff that you resonate with, and sometimes I say stuff that you disagree with. Either way, I'm just a person, and you're just a person. But this whole thing of like, oh man, I'm down here and this person's up here, that is the thing that's bad. Oh man, I'm down here and Zoink's up here. That is the rub. That's what causes all this misery. That's what like, and I'm glad that Aeon Air made this video because I feel like so many kids now are just like, oh man, they see Zoink and they just see Zoink like working on Heliopolis, and the thing their brain immediately fires on is just like, I gotta take him down. And it's like, dude, it's not about that. It's not about like, it's not about the Ash Ketchum, I want to be the very best that no one ever was. Like, that's great. If you have that desire with something, it's great. Follow that passion. But if it comes at the cost of like being able to enjoy your life, unless you are that, that is where like, that's the slippery slope. And that's what I would argue is a lot of people are like, that's why they feel so miserable, because they're going through all the motions of not being the best in pursuit of being the best. And when all you care about is being the best and you're not the best, you feel bad all the time.
Like Geometry Dash, so being the number one is the clear ambition to most people. You probably won't end up becoming the next Zoink. You might, though. It's very unlikely, but you might. Probably not, but maybe. Who knows? Now, I'm not really trying to be rude here, kind of, but not really. When I get asked these questions, 98% of the time, I can very easily tell who of these people are going to play Geometry Dash long term, and who of them is going to end up quitting the game within a year, maybe 2 if they're kind of dragging.
I think this is kind of my same position in life. I think the more questions you have to ask about how you make positive progress for something, the more the thing might not be for you. Hear me out. I think it's an extension of what people say, like it's like those who can do, those who can't teach. I think that if a path is meant for you, you just kind of do it and you figure it out. I think the more that when friction is introduced, you have to like pause and stop, and like there's kind of like this aspect of insecurity in you where like you have to go around trying to find information for what the step forward is. I think more likely than not, that signal from your brain saying like, if when you're met with friction, you feel indecisive and like you don't know what to do next, you should probably be doing something else entirely. Are you following me here? Because when something is like more for you, you just kind of want to do it. Like if you're destined to be one of the best Geometry Dash players, you're not going to wait around for someone else to tell you how to play the game. You're just going to like find the next thing that you want to do in the game, right? I hope that makes sense for some people, because I think a lot of times in life, whether it's like a game that you feel like you're supposed to play or a career that you're supposed to pick, when everything feels like it's hard for you to know what the next step is, sometimes that's not like a personal failure. That's your sense of self telling you that like the path forward for the one that you're walking is not for you. If it was, it would at least feel a little bit of a modicum easier.
I get it. And then end up saying to everyone and their mother that Geometry Dash is the worst game ever created, mostly because of the fact that it pissed them off to no end. You know who you are, by the way. You know. Sure, the other 2% is going to play the game for a lot longer. They're going to continue improving. And some might even become incredibly good, much better than I am, that's for sure. But again, though, a lot of the time with these people, they still end up finding the game really frustrating more often than not. And at that point, is it worth your time? If the game is consistently pissing you off, especially if it's a persistent issue with each and every
most things worth working for are not easy. Yeah. And that's all I'm saying. And I think Aeon Air is getting to the same point. It's like, if you're looking for answers to, hey, how can I expedite this process? The problem is right there within the question, right? When you're looking for a path for how do I get this done faster, it's self-evident that you don't enjoy the process of, I've said this before, the whole point of Geometry Dash is the struggle. Most of the time when you're playing Geometry Dash is not you beating the level. It's you figuring out how to beat the level. If you do not enjoy the process of figuring out how to beat the level, the game is not for you. Straight up. I'm sorry if that sounds like violent or personal, but like that is the game. The game is failing over and over and over and over. If that feels bad, if failing over and over again feels bad, play a different game where that's not the core gameplay loop.
Level that you play, maybe try something else real quick, okay? You can try creating, you can try star grinding, you can try platformer mode, or if none of those work, try therapy. I don't know, man. There's like a lot
Go to therapy.
of things you can do.
It's awesome.
How the fuck am I sitting, bro? Now I get it, right? Extreme Demons, that's what the cool kids are doing. Myself included, I'm one of those cool kids.
I'm a cool
I
kid.
play Extreme Demons, that's pretty much all I do in this game, and I have done for the past decade, right? And it is the de facto path to greatness and glory within Genre Dash. Hell, even Zoink himself, the guy who this video was kind of about, but not really, himself also jumped from Bloodbath to Zodiac in like 60,000 attempts and like half a year of grinding. So if he can go from jumping to Zodiac in 60,000 attempts to being arguably, not really arguably, the greatest player of all time, why can't you? I mean, I'm gonna be 100% real with you. I don't have any rebuttal to that. You could. There's 100% a chance that you can. I just wanted to make this argument so that you wouldn't tell me in the comments, because I know for a fact that people are gonna be like, but Aeon, you could. Not saying you can't. I'm just saying it's very unlikely. You probably can't see me properly now, right? But then again, what's the difference between Zoink spending 60,000 attempts on Zodiac and you spending 5,000 attempts on 9 circles? Well, I'm glad you asked. Let me speak for a minute. Most likely, it's the fact that Zoink spent those 60,000 attempts with patience and focus, while you spent 5,000 attempts on 9 circles being turned into a spammable rage gif.
Yeah, I think he's getting to the whole idea of like practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect, right? Streamers don't get as mad as you think.
You angrily start typing in the comments despite my best efforts to make you not type those words. Because if I, Aeon Air, were a real Zoinker, is that what he calls his fan base? I have absolutely no idea, actually.
Yes.
I would know that Zoink does, in fact, actually get kind of mad when he plays the game on stream. I'm gonna be so real with you. Zoink is definitely playing up a character just to be entertaining. Most of all the big streamers actually do this, myself included. I've also done this plenty of times. But if you can't tell the difference between genuine frustration and someone just engaging with the current situation of them failing something for the 25th time this stream by making a funny gah or a, what the heck, man, just to stimulate your dopamine receptors and make you go, OMG, he's so mad, LOL, then you really need to take a look in the mirror. Yeah, what now? And realize that they most likely weren't that annoyed to begin with. They just know how to engage you and make the stream funny and entertaining. When I play...
I'm going to push back against that a little bit. I think that, because my perspective, again, and I have to say this every time because a lot of people don't know this about me. I went to acting school for 4 years. I got into theater in high school. I then got a 4-year degree for acting. I moved to New York City. I auditioned for a bunch of stuff, did some theater, did some short films. So like, I feel like, no, I'm not Brad Pitt movie star Ryan Gosling, but I feel like I know a lot about acting. And one of the most successful things about acting is not something being fraudulent. Like, I don't think, maybe there are some streamers where like, yeah, like, and I know like he's recognized this a bit. I don't think that stuff is fabricated. But I also don't think that like saying that, oh yeah, we're playing it up because we know that it's going to get people to engage you. I can at least say from my perspective, that's not what I'm doing. What I'm doing is if I feel some type of way on stream, I lean into that emotion. And that's what makes, like, I think performance feel authentic or inauthentic. Like, if I didn't feel some type of way, the audience can tell, right? It's like when you're in a play and someone is giving a dramatic monologue where they're supposed to be crying and they're just like, oh no, I lost my wife. I'll never see her again. Like, you're sitting there and you're cringing because it's inauthentic, right? I think it has to come from an authentic place. Otherwise, like, people's BS detectors, they can tell it way too well. So I'm not saying that people who stream, like, I think probably some people are just like, you know, I mean, and you know, we don't have to name names, but yeah, like there are some people who are just like, they die in a video and they're just like, what the heck, bro? And like, you can tell that it's not coming from an authentic place. I can say, at least for me, it is, because it feels odd for me to play something up that I'm not at least feeling some degree of real emotion from. And I think that's part of what makes people, at least more honest streamers. And I think that there are good examples of streamers who are like this and streamers who aren't like this. But I think it's less about trying to create moments that aren't there, like forcing a moment that's not there. It's like, you shouldn't like have a rage moment if you don't feel angry. Like, and you shouldn't have like a funny moment if you don't feel in a bit of a whimsical mood. You know what I'm saying? But I think this is something that you can't really teach others. This is something that I just kind of naturally have in me. It's like, if I feel silly and goofy, I'm going to do something silly and goofy. If I feel angry, I'm going to let myself be angry. But when I stream, I don't think about like, oh, I need to make a moment out of this. But I think a lot of people do. You know what I'm saying? And that's where you get like clip farming allegations and that kind of thing. Like, there are people who are just like, oh, wait, it's been T-minus 20 minutes since I've had a rage moment. I need to add one of those in. I can say fully from my perspective, I have never thought about performing nor streaming that way. I just kind of, I spark up and I let stuff happen.
Play Silent Clubset for 4 hours and people are like, oh my god, Aeon, how are you not getting...
I think what he's trying to say is they're playing into the emotions they were feeling, just making them more extreme than they actually feel. I do think that that's what he's saying. I just disagree with the perspective that that's fraudulent. I think that that is actually authentic. Because in theater, it's the whole thing in theater. When you're performing, you're supposed to gesture so that the person in the back row can see you. I just don't see that as inauthentic. I don't see it as... But I understand the frustration of a chatter thinking that it's like they're laughing at you because you're angry. I just don't agree with the whole inclination of like, oh, you're laughing at me because you think I'm angry, but actually I'm not even that angry. It's like, no, dude, like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I think a bit of what he's saying here is a bit of like self-preservation. I think it is real. And if it wasn't real, then people wouldn't take the bait and think that it's funny. Like, I think even if it's just a nugget of truth that yes, you're leaning into, it's real. It just is. You're magnifying it, but it's coming from a real place.
I'm getting so annoyed with this level. I'm gonna be so real with you. My stoic and heroic appearance of me not getting frustrated whatsoever is most likely just how everyone plays the game when they're not on camera. Like, have you ever watched an EVW video where he's like, I'm failing, rah, you know? And then you see him beating an extreme demon, and the attempt before he dies is something really stupid, and he's just like, Yeah, that's just kind of how he always is. That's how most people always are. You know? That's just to engage and make something more entertaining. It's not an actual genuine reaction as much as it's just like an, oh, I died to something stupid, I better make this funny. You know what I say? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I genuinely, dude, I just straight up disagree. Like, I get, again, I see what he's saying, but like, I mean, my friend Austin can relate to this too. Like, dude, like sometimes when I'm just alone in my room, like I'll rage at games. I'll be like, no, what the heck? Like, just because I'm entertaining myself. Maybe it's because like I'm so ingrained in like what being an entertainer and performer is. Like, I just like, even if no one's there, like I'll still do that stuff because it's fun.
I don't actually have any way of...
I think this is coming from the perspective of someone who observes the way that people who are entertainers and performers act, as someone who maybe doesn't have a natural inclination towards entertaining and performing, and it's trying to emulate that from the outside in. Do you understand?
Confirming this other than DMing so I can getting a first-hand account, which I'm kind of scared to do because then I would have to rewrite this whole segment. I'm willing to put money on the fact that during his Zodiac grind, he was actually having a really, really good time. He was just kind of grinding because he wanted to beat the level. Not inherently with the idea to get better, but because he just thought, Zodiac's kind of fucking cool to beat, bro.
Real?
If all you're really worrying about, though, is how many times you're spending on a level, what level you should jump to, or this one is important, what level you should play after beating the level you're currently playing, I have a really hard time thinking that you really like the game to begin with, and you really
I already said this like way back here.
just
My bad.
want to be good at the game for the bragging rights of it. And I am sure that at least 3 of you, speaking from experience here, by the way, are claiming, but Aeon, there's that phrase again, I'm just really motivated. When you talk about the next 8 hardest that you're gonna play and beat over the course of the next 2.5 years, and how you will soon be playing list demons, the coveted list demons, despite your hardest being winning the landscape at the time of planning these things, right? I want you to ask yourself real fast, are you actually motivated to put in that insane grind to get to list demon level, because it is really hard? Or do you just really like the idea of getting really good at the game? I mean, motivation is fleeting, right? It's a fleeting feeling.
I don't know. Like, I understand this perspective, and I understand like the frustration of people who are only motivated by something for bragging rights. But like, I don't know, man. I think it's part of the human psyche is we all like, people just want to do stuff so they can get recognition for it. Like, I don't think that that's like a wrong reason to do something. I do think that it's a slippery slope. And if you're doing something because you think that it'll make people like you, like for sure, that can be dangerous. But there is something innately human of like, you just want to be respected by your peers. You just want to do something significant that people like are able to look at you and like admire you for it. I think trying to fight that and try to represent it as something else is a bit of a misnomer. And I think that sometimes people who are blanket, just like, no, I'm genuinely only doing this because of the thing itself, versus like, if they're not saying even like to a degree that they're like, oh yeah, it would also be kind of cool if like people respected the work that I put in and were just like, wow, like great job, they'd be lying to themselves. You know what I'm saying? But I do understand the point he's making for sure. The frustration comes from like people who like, they genuinely don't like the game and they want to just build up their resume, and then they're miserable doing that because their priorities are all mixed up and they're asking for advice. Again, I understand the point. I just don't think that it's like fully representative of what's presented, because I've stated before, I don't think that it's fully like, I don't believe in like a more moral way of wanting to achieve something than not. I think that it's perfectly fine to be extrinsically motivated by just wanting to be appreciated by others for achieving something. Like, I think that, because I think it's just realistic. Like, sometimes people genuinely are, if you hear some people who are successful, they will say that to you. Like, yes, it's both. It's like, I want to do this for myself, but also, yeah, I would be lying to you if it's like, it is cool that people like see it and they appreciate it.
It's not something that is like stagnant. You're not going to be consistently motivated throughout all of it. You can't really guarantee yourself being motivated for the next 2.5 years as your plans entail in this hypothetical scenario, obviously. But my motivation personally can swing from, I really want to beat these 20 levels. I want to beat through the gates. I want to beat based after based. I want to beat deadlier clubs. I want to beat minus try. I want to beat firework. Yes, I'm going to be doing this for the next 1.5 years. And then like a week later, I'm like, fuck, dude, I don't even want to open the game right now. God, playing Geometry Dash, dude, I'd much rather just rip my. Sorry, I felt like sitting down. I'm a lazy piece of shit.
Yeah, if you ever feel like that with the game, do something else. It's very simple. A lot of people like they just like, I don't know, man. Maybe it's because I'm Grand Unk. Just don't force yourself to do stuff you don't want to do, and do the thing that you want.
Shit.
I feel crazy.
But I gotta admit though, right? You need a lot of introspection to actually admit to yourself.
That's fair.
That you don't want to put in the work to get better, but you actually just really like daydreaming about becoming the GOAT. Now,
I do think it's because people lack introspection. I do think that I don't have a lot of natural like superpowers. I do think one superpower that cannot be doubted or taken away from me, I have been in like a forced state of introspection since I was born. I just be thinking about shit, bro, and drawing conclusions about how I feel about stuff. Some people straight up never do that. I think that's why, like, dude, I'd be journaling. I'd be sitting by myself, deconstructing my thoughts and like challenging them and trying to figure out what the grain of truth is attached to them. And I guess some people never do that. I'm not saying that like that makes me a better person, but I do think that introspection is a skill. And you can go your whole life without ever wondering, wait, why do I feel this way? Wait, why am I drawing this conclusion? Could it be a different conclusion? Sometimes we go into a thinking space. Sure.
I'm going to get a little bit personal here and talk about my personal dreams as a...
And that's why, like, I've reached this place where it's like, if I was ever... Because we literally reached it, like, chat, to be so real, we reached it already with me playing Geometry Dash. We reached a stream where I was playing Lonely Travel. I was bored. I felt chat was bored. And that's when I decided to jump to 9 circles. I've not had a moment yet again with Geometry Dash, but when I cross that path again with Geometry Dash, I feel fully confident and comfortable that I will find a lateral move to do. I'm sure other streamers do the exact same thing. Sometimes streamers feel like going for a new hardest, and sometimes they go for a level that's like well within their skill range. Every option is good. So long as you are to thine own self be truing, you're fine. It's only when you're forcing yourself to do some shit that you don't want to do because you think it's like gonna be a good thing that it's a recipe for disaster.
Child. Because as a kid, I would daydream about being the absolute best DJ in the world when I first found about my goat Skrillex. And act out in fantasies.
People love Skrillex.
Imagine myself as I listened to music that I would be playing these insane festivals and that their songs were mine and I was the greatest DJ of all time. But I'm going to be so real with you, I never actually bothered putting in the work to hone my craft and become the fabled world star DJ. Not because I couldn't. Or didn't have the resources. I had cracked Fruit Loops on my computer. I very easily could have just started DJing and learning how to make music. I just was not asked. I like the idea a lot. Could not be bothered putting in the work and actually go on that journey. I just thought it was a fun little fantasy to have. I'm not gonna lie with you. And
this is common. I think like this is something when I was going through acting too, and also like I'm into music and making music. This is why it can hit from both sides. I think a lot of time, especially children, you watch movies and there are a bunch of like actors in them and people look up to them and they think they're cool. That's where the whole notion of like, oh, everybody wants to be a movie star. Everybody wants to be a rock star. Everybody wants to rule the world comes from, is because there is that natural like knee-jerk inclination of you just seeing someone. There are people watching my stream right now, or like if you're watching the video, you're watching the video. And you look up to the people you watch in any way, you're seeing someone who is receiving any kind of social proof, and you're just like, oh, dang, I kind of want that right now. But it's not, that doesn't mean like, if you watch my streams and you feel inspired to be a streamer, I want to caution you to introspect and think, do I really want to be a streamer? Or do I just want to be in the spotlight and to have people's attention and to feel like people like me and respect me? Because a lot of people draw the wrong conclusions. They'll watch LeBron James play basketball and they'll be like, I should be a basketball player. They'll watch a freaking physicist like just make some big discovery in science and they'll be like, oh shoot, I should be a scientist. You know, if you live your life where like any time like you see like a news article and someone's getting positive attention for something, you're just like, maybe I should try that. But you don't have any of like the like you aren't inspired enough to actually like walk the path to like do the work that it takes to get there, then it's not for you. But it's perfectly okay to admit that like you want to achieve something that is admirable, that gives you social proof, that gives you recognition from your peers, but you need to introspect to realize what you value, what you're good at, what you actually want to, what path you actually want to walk in order to achieve something and be the kind of person that you want to be. But that doesn't come from like any time you see someone who's like getting more attention than you are, you're just like, oh crap, I ought to be more like that guy. It's like, yes, you do need to be more like your favorite streamer, not by being a streamer, but by being a more self-actualized version of yourself who is aligned with what your life's ambition and what your life's purpose is. That comes from introspection, not by monkey see, monkey doing what's working for someone else. It comes from sitting down with yourself, writing down what you care about, writing what you want out of life, and then making goals and committing to them. That is a personal journey. That doesn't come from someone else.
Right? My point with all this is that just because you have Geometry Dash on your laptop or on your phone and you can open up a level like Tartarus or Zodiac and play said level doesn't actually mean you have the...
Yeah, I want to try streaming. It's such an easy job. Bro, why does no one watch? All these big streamers are so lucky. I quit. Exactly. People, they think they want to do something, then they try it, they realize how hard it is, and they give up. Like... At some point, you have to realize, yes, a degree of luck is involved to everything. But if you can't handle the grind of something, like if you don't love something so much that you can do it in spite of the grind, it's not for you. It just isn't. And don't get me wrong, a lot of luck has been involved in me being able to build up an audience of people watching me. But if you think that all this just happened overnight and it like I wasn't doing like a million things in the background to try and get people to care about the fact that when I'm on camera and saying stuff, like it should matter to them or like it should stir something in them, you are deluding yourself. Certainly luck is always involved, but there are so many levers being pulled. There's so much more thought being put into anything. So there's so much thought that Aeon Air put into this video that we're never going to see. Like there's so many more layers of depth to literally everything in this life that to discount it ever as something as like, oh, this person's just lucky, or oh, I need to try and emulate the final product of what someone's doing and that's how I get to them. Like certainly there is a degree of fake it till you make it in anything, but to completely water down an experience of something to just like that 1 degree of it instead of looking at every single side of it, I think that's why people spin their own wheels. I think that's why people burn out. I think that's why people get trapped into walking paths in life that they were never meant to walk to begin with.
Drive to becoming the next #1 player. And I stand firm in my belief that I do not think everyone is meant to play Extreme Demons. Walk with me here for a second, okay?
This bit fucking sucks.
If you don't find any fulfillment or excitement in the act of challenging yourself and seeing small increments of improvement over a long period of time, you shouldn't really be playing Extreme Demons. Yes, Zoink jumped, but he had the patience and desire to grind more and more levels.
I was saying this earlier.
It wasn't his jump from Bloodbath to Zodiac that made him good at Geometry Dash. What made Zoink good was his ability to stay consistent with beating more and more levels while having fun doing so.
Yeah, exactly. There's no better motivator. Like, chat, when you want to be consistent on something, there's no better motivator than like looking forward to doing it. That's why I say to follow the fun. Because if you can stay having a positive relationship with the thing that you're trying to grind, it makes the grind feel smooth and easy. If you make it like this kind of like adversarial, antagonistic relationship where it's like, oh God, okay, I gotta do this now. I gotta do this. The recipe for being able to be as consistent as possible, it becomes kind of poisoned. If friction is introduced that makes you want to pare back and become less consistent, that's usually a warning sign that you're interfacing with something in an unhealthy way. And so you should work on your mindset and you should try to pivot to something that makes you feel like you can look forward to it again. And sometimes that means like you have to stop playing the game. If you have to fully disengage from something, sometimes that is the answer.
Excuse the boring background. I kind of forgot to record this in a cooler way. Anyway, every single top player that falls from their throne as the best player in the game, more often than not, does it the exact same way, right? They run out of things that they find fun to play. And that is why Zoink, to me, is the ideal top player, right? Because he actively chooses to go out of his way to play things he finds fun and or intriguing. For example, Exasperation, Unearth Yatagarasu, and Ashley Way of Trials and Through the Gates. Although the latter two are now rated, they weren't when he beat them. They were just these impossible levels that had been out for a while, and just no one had gone for them, and he was like, I can do that. That looks fun. Him playing a bunch of unrated things is not a matter of Zoink running out of things to play. In fact, I think it's a showcase of why he is that ideal top player. He just thinks they're really cool. People still want him to be codependents. People still want him to beat a bunch of levels. He just chooses not to. I was going to say Booba Wamba. However, by the time this video comes out, he's already beaten that. But I digress. Zoink plays things because he wants to, not because there's an inherent need to play those things to get better. He just thinks the levels are cool or they fascinate him in some way or another. That's why he keeps playing and that's why he keeps improving. He is not intrinsically motivated by beating the demon list as much as he's just intrinsically motivated by this level is cool as fuck, let me play that.
I mean, I just retweet. I agree. I've talked about that many times.
Jumping isn't inherently bad. Hell, I myself jump whenever I go for a new hardest. Deimos to Silent Clubstep, that's a massive jump, bro. I'm gonna be...
I think jumping for a new hardest is an easier motivator. Like, I'll be honest, like, if I was doing a level that was just slightly harder than 9 circles, and this is just how my brain works. Maybe it's just because like I'm up to like a new challenge, but like jumping to Bloodbath, I felt so determined and I still feel determined. And that's why I want to jump again after Bloodbath. Because if I just made like a small, like if I did, what is it? Like Sakapen Hell after Bloodbath, I think I would genuinely be more demotivated by that grind because it's only slightly better. Whereas if something is a lot harder than my current hardest, it's easier for me to be like, honestly, when I'm bad and struggling with the level, it's easy for my brain to be like, okay, well, yeah, I'm jumping. It's hard. When you're jumping, it's going to be hard, you know? But that's just how my brain works. If you jump and it demotivates you, that's fine. But my brain, I think I like jumping, bro. When I'm going for new hardest.
So real with you. Or when I did a Rust to Hard Machine, massive jump, right? So it's
Sonic Wave will make you want to quit this game, not going to lie. We'll see. People have said that about every single new hardest I've gotten. But
not
we'll
that
see.
jumping in and of itself is bad. What I do not encourage, and what is the main point here, is I do not encourage it when people come to me and go like, hey, Aeon, what should I jump to after I beat Windy Landscape? Sure, there is a chance here that they might be using the word jump.
If you have to ask what to jump to, you probably shouldn't jump. Like, the reason why I jumped to Bloodbath was because I wanted to beat Bloodbath. Do you guys understand that? It's not like I was like, oh, wait, I beat 9 circles. Now I need an extreme demon. Like, you know what I'm saying? It makes sense, right? I wasn't jumping to Bloodbath to jump. I jumped to Bloodbath after 9 circles because I wanted to beat Bloodbath and I felt, well, I'm ready as I'll ever be.
Interchangeably with regular progression, which, by the way, stop doing that. It's really stupid. But more likely, the scenario here is that they just simply want to progress faster and they have no idea what to do, so they just want to skip ahead and not put in the necessary work to actually get really good at the game. Beating extreme demons requires a special kind of stupid. Not the kind of stupid that is jumping from Windy Landscape to Sonic Wave, because there are no good levels in between those two. That's fucking ridiculous. I'm gonna be so real with you, bro. That's just stupid. And it's not a special kind of stupid, it's just stupid. But it requires the kind of special stupid, trademarked, that tells you failing over and 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 over again to become a fraction of a bit better at the level you're playing and think that is fun and engaging, despite what.
Bro, it's speedrunner brain. I've talked about this before. Like, for me, working on Bloodbath feels the same way as when I was labbing Bomb Clip in Super Mario 64, when I was labbing freaking Corner Boost in Celeste for the first time. It's just, I don't know, man. It's hard to teach this to somebody. Like, labbing and working on trying to overcome something that's a harder difficulty than you've ever had to do in a game, it's just, failure is expected. It's fine. I don't know how to teach that. It's just like, you have to have the kind of brain that's okay with just kind of practicing something until you get it right.
What Einstein might have said.
There's no answer. If you don't like practicing something until you get it right, you probably aren't going to like a lot of things in life. You probably aren't going to like learning how to play piano. You're probably not going to like learning how to play basketball. You're probably not going to like... That's learning, bro. Learning is like, it's just a lot of failure. I think it's important to keep your heart and mind open so that you can increase potential opportunities in your life.
Doing the same thing over and over again with no change is not a sign of insanity. It's fun. Trust me, I would know. I've done it for 10 years. Although I guess you could say that you do get a little bit better, so it's not like the same thing over and over again. It's the same thing with like 4 atoms worth of difference. I don't know, man. I'm just pull at straws here, okay? But you get the idea, right? Now, the bottom line here is that if you do not think the act of failing extreme demons and making mistakes and spending a lot of time making these mistakes and failing, I do not think there is a healthy path for you to take to get much better at the game, especially not to a point where you can compete with or surpass Zoink. And when I say healthy, I mean
For sure.
like a good way to do it. Like you could, doesn't mean it's good for you though. And if you feel like any of these things speak to you, not literally speak to you because I'm communicating to you with this video, but figuratively speaking, if you think that any of these words speak to you, I encourage you to try something different. Geometry Dash is just as fun as you yourself make Geometry Dash because it has literally infinite possibilities to play the game, right? Try star grinding, try creating, try playing challenges, try the shitty list. Hell, we have a whole different game within the game in platformer mode.
And if you try all the stuff that the game has to offer you and you don't like any of it, play something else. Don't keep playing the game. You don't need to arbitrarily decide that a game that you play has to become a part of your personality if you don't even like interfacing with it to begin with.
Where there's a whole different community.
There's plenty of other stuff to try in life.
Specifically for this game mode, you get what I mean. There's a whole different community for platformer that you might fall in love with and find really fun. There's so much you can do within Geometry Dash that is not Extreme Demons, because at the end of the day, Extreme Demons is a teeny tiny, itty bitty little fraction of what this game is. And just because the most popular player, and at this point, one of the most popular content creators of the game plays Extreme Demons, that does not inherently mean that you yourself is made out for grinding Extreme Demons. All of these are very good options for things that you can do if you yourself find out maybe playing Extreme Demons just isn't for me. Because most likely, you cannot be Zoink, but you can be yourself and find the most fun thing for you.
On God.
Hi, I'm Alan, and this is the end of the video for a weird change. I couldn't fit the intro, the hi, I'm Alan in this video anywhere else in the video. Terribly sorry about that for those of you who really enjoy the consistency of that. Either way, I digress. Thank you for watching, first and foremost. I truly appreciate it. For those of you who do not remember, back in 2024, when I decided to stop making stream highlights content and such, it was primarily because I just didn't feel like it was fulfilling for me anymore. Doing practice runs of new top ones, just making stream highlights of extremes, I didn't get anything out of it personally, and it had never anything to do with me not enjoying making videos. I truly enjoy making videos. I enjoy the creative outlet that it gives me, but those particular types of videos, I just didn't feel anything out of it. I was just putting them out because that was what people were expecting of me, and that's why the burnout happened to begin with. However, over the past half year, I've really wanted to stretch my legs creatively again. I finally found like a spark of I want to do this thing because I feel like I would get something out of it. And during the process of making this video, I've felt genuinely happy making videos. This was a really, really fun video to make. I have had a ton of fun working on it.
Yeah, I can tell it felt really loose. I haven't watched a lot of Aeon Air videos, but I think he should make more stuff like this. I think this was great. You can really, I mean, just as like a fellow creative person, it really felt like he just kind of let himself make the video that he wanted to make, and I think that's a W.
And if you guys want to support me and so I can make more of these kind of videos, because I really want to, then I would appreciate subscribe, like on the video, suggestions for whatever to talk about next. And if you could become a YouTube member, I would truly appreciate it. On the side of the screen here, you're seeing.
Yeah, chat, be sure, like, if you like this video, be sure to subscribe to Aeon Air, like the video, and yeah, go to the comments and suggest some stuff, because I would love to react to more of this style of video from him. I think this is a great type of video, especially for me to react to.
All of my YouTube members and Twitch subscribers, thank you so much for the direct support. It truly means the world to me.
I'm really glad that he's doing the kind of stuff he wants to do. Like, that's awesome.
But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, thank you for watching. I had a ton of fun making this, and I'm going to try and make these videos, not super frequently, but they're going to come out periodically at least. So yeah, thank you for hanging out. I really appreciate it. Thank you for watching, and hopefully you enjoyed a different change for the Aeon Air channel, because I truly believe that this is going to be fun.
All right, W video. It's sad that this is how players are defined nowadays. It's like, if you're good, you're welcome. If you're not, you get ignored. I understand that sentiment. I think it comes down to, like, the culture online behind a game and its community is always going to be a certain way. And if you want to participate in that, that is fully your decision. If you don't, then you don't have to. I think it's easy to get wrapped up, especially since, again, our algorithms, like, push everything that gets the most engagement to the surface. That's why, like, why is Zoink so big right now? Because right now the Geometry Dash community really cares about who the top one player is, right? I think that oftentimes people at the top in terms of content and all that stuff, it reflects the prioritization of what people value and what they watch. But I don't think that has to trickle down to how people individually define their own prioritization for the game that they play, right? Oftentimes it can be a source of inspiration. Like if you look at Zoink and you're just like, wow, I also kind of want to pursue being a top 1 player, that's perfectly fine. But if you just want to play the game the way you want to play it, and yeah, maybe it'll be like a less popular, less like widely beloved version of being able to enjoy the game, that's fine. Like your ultimate goal doesn't need to be being appreciated by everyone around you. By the same token that earlier I was saying, like, it's okay to want to do something to be appreciated by others. It's also okay to do something while not actively pursuing being appreciated by others. You know what I'm saying? So I do think I understand the sentiment that you're representing, but like you have no control over what a community or like the cultural zeitgeist is going to prioritize and care about. What you do have control over is making decisions based on what you individually care about. And as long as you live true to yourself and you live true to your values as a player, as a creator, whatever the heck you do, you're going to be fine. But you can't be governed by what motivates someone else. You have to be governed by what motivates you individually. So, W-React, y'all. Thanks for suggesting this video. I think we had a lot of good nuggets, some good yaps. Shout out Aeon Air again. I would love for him to make more of these videos. So please go to his video, comment suggestions that you want to hear him talk about. I would love to react to the next one. And as always, be sure to suggest videos. Join the Discord. Go to the React to the Steej channel. And keep on dropping suggestions. And I'll see you in the next one. Did you like that? Don't even pretend like you didn't. You made it that far in the video. Well, did you know that I stream Monday through Friday on Twitch and YouTube, and you could catch me live and get to be a part of the experience when it happens? Also, if you don't care about that, or otherwise you want to see more of the video that you just watched, link in the description to watch the full VOD. Do that, please. I have a black eye because I play basketball sometimes. Bye. Oh,